This season, we had the opportunity to go to Utah to play the state champions in Corner Canyon. Now, we learned a ton from this game. It was our first game of the season because one of our games had to be rescheduled. But ultimately, the one thing that we took above all else from Corner Canyon was how to apply pressure during our man-down sets. Because usually you think, hey, you're man down, you want to play in space, you want to make sure that you're covering up all of the most dangerous territory of the field. But what it showed us was how little pressure we had been applying during our man-up sets. Like, we were pretty good at hitting our man-up in practice, but once they applied a little bit of pressure, it took us completely out of what we wanted to do. And so that's what we are going to be covering in this video. What's going on, everybody? I'm Patrick from POWLAX, where we create confident coaches because confident coaches create great environments for players. And in this video, we are going to teach you guys how to push some P man down. Now, before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video if you really enjoy it and you think someone else is going to find it valuable. Also, I'd like to thank all of the POWLAX members whose generous contributions have helped to create this and many other videos. Now, if you would like to help support POWLAX on this mission, you can do that at POWLAX.com, where we house and organize all of the lacrosse coaching content that we have created over the years. We've got tons of different stuff: offenses, defenses, man up, man down, drills, skill development videos, and a new lacrosse section that you can send these videos to people who are just joining the sport. It'll teach them the origins of the sport, as well as get them kind of hyped up to be a part of the community. There's also a choosing the right stick video, which is going to basically show them why playing with a terribly strung stick is going to make their child feel like they're not any good because the stick is awful. Finally, I just want to show you the membership sections. For $5 a month, you can become a silver member. This is going to give you access to all of the playbook PDFs that correspond to this video, as well as many of the others. And basically, once you become a member, you can download this playbook PDF, print it out, put it in your playbook, have it forever. Now, the final thing I'm going to ask you to do is, if you'll check the description section and you need to buy, say, a bounce back or a 11th man defender or some Pearl lacrosse balls, if you use the links and the codes down in the description, it'll do a quick kickback. So if you want to support me in that way, you can do that as well. Now, let's get into the video. So as we went out to Utah and we played Corner Canyon, and their pressure on man-down defense totally took us out of everything that we were trying to do. We were pretty good at our man-up offense. We just had never seen the pressure and had players in our hands as we were trying to make our reads. Now, they weren't doing anything crazy. It was just the fact that they were trying to apply pressure in essentially a 5-man rotation style of defense. Now, there is no brand new playbook PDF to show you how to push pressure on. You can download a complete guide to man down defense playbook PDF, and it's essentially the 5-man rotation. But every time the ball is moved, players are going to get out to play on the player's hands. And so we're going to get right into the video. I think we've got about 6 or 7 clips. Should be relatively quick. And the first video we have, I'm going to show you the first set we had against Corner Canyon this first game. So right as we start to swing the ball, we're going to run some motions. And the fact that they were right in our hands, even at X, we couldn't even get through swinging the ball around, right? It definitely was not something that our guys were used to. And our guys were pretty good at just playing, right? They could find relatively decent looks as they went through the motion. Like, it wasn't like they had specific things that they had to look for. But even in that, 30-second clip, the fact that we had pressure in our hands meant we couldn't find the looks that we were used to finding, or even other looks that, may have just come up. Now, in the second video, we had the same basic thing. We just had players in our hands, so we couldn't find the looks that we were used to. Now, in this, we are going to swing the ball counterclockwise, throw the ball to X, carry to the other side, and then throw back to this near side here. Now, as we throw the ball back, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a seal here, where we seal off here, we get our shooter over the top, and then we slip the seal through, right? And so even as that happened, we get the ball back to where we want it, but now he's got players in his hands. He decides not to make that decision because he knows that he's going to be throwing possibly an errant pass. Once that's over, our players they're supposed to just go into a 3-3, and then they can read and react to exactly what they find. Now, the problem is that what you find is dependent, or what you can actually do is dependent on not only what you find, but also whether you're able to make the pass in that moment that it becomes available, right? So if you're just in someone's hands, in the moment that they're trying to find a specific look, you're going to ruin their specific look. And so as we continue to play, I think we got a decent shot there, and then we get another shot here where we hit the pipe, but this was not out of something that our man-up would traditionally do, right? It was not something that our man-up had practiced. Now, we decided we were going to take this and we were going to utilize it. Now, in this first example video, we are not pushing P yet. Now, we call it pushing P because you're pushing pressure, and there's that pushing P song. The kids loved it. You know, it worked. But so in this first video, we are not into it yet. Now, this team is a very well-coached team, but in the same manner, we were able to take them out of what they wanted to do when we started to apply pressure. So right now, I believe we're in a 5-man or a house, and we're not getting out to hands. We're not pressuring. Now, you'll see that as they have time to catch the ball, look, and move it, it was not working very well. We basically allowed them to just play through their looks. Now, they get a relatively decent shot there, right? It gets blocked. But ultimately, as the ball swings up and around again, they are going to pop this player back off the crease, and then they're going to skip the ball through. Now, as they skip it through, notice how much time this player has to throw this pass, right? The ball comes down to him, he carries up the wing, and just his eyes and his hands are open just the entire time. Easy feed through the defense, and they score. Now, once we started to push some pressure, now it became a lot more difficult for them to actually go. So sometimes we would apply pressure right out of the gate. Sometimes we would wait for the second pass to apply some pressure. Notice how this player's not pressing right now. I think he didn't know we were in it. And then now you'll see as it swings over, he then does apply pressure. But as the ball is swinging, you'll notice that they basically have no ability to look through to find the looks that they have because they've got players in their hands. And it's not something that's just totally overwhelming. It's just make sure you're in their hands the entire time. Now, for a 30-second penalty, it's not very hard to apply some pressure. Now, the key to this is making sure that the back 4 players are in positions where we are covering up the 4 closest players. So you've got your adjacent, your right, your adjacent, your left, your 2's backside, and if there's anyone on the crease, the 2's have to fall in to play the player on the crease. Now, if they're in a 1-4-1, you're going to have to adjust accordingly, but the bottom line is the ability to just get out and press is going to give you the time to make those adjustments where you are then finding players on the inside. I hope that makes sense. So by applying pressure on the ball, you are giving your off-ball players time to find the most important players to cover on the inside. And for the most part, even if some of them are wide open, they're not going to have the ability to throw the ball because there's going to be pressure in their hands. Now, as we get into this next clip, notice they do start in their 1-4-1. We are not pushing P yet, and now we are. And so as these players start to get out to play the ball, there are definitely some openings as they move into their 3-3. The key is that once we are in their hands, it's a lot more difficult to make those looks. Ball swings back to the right. They do a nice little 6-man wheel. Still, nobody's coming available. And now, in the end of this, they score because they had the chance to look through the defense, right? So as this player gets to the ball right here, he takes a bad approach, right? If he approaches top side, he has a better opportunity to stay in hands. Instead, he goes low, and he ends up water skiing behind him. Now, this player, threw that other pass before where he skipped it all the way through the defense. This time, he just throws the ball back down, and as we end up rotating with our shorty, he's got a chance to just shoot the ball. So you have to make sure everybody's bought in, because if they're not, they'll dice you up. Now, next one is same basic ideas. They're going to try to find that same look where they tried to skip the ball through before. So as this player catches the ball and carries up the field, he tries to skip it through, but it's not as easy, right? So now, as he carries up this wing, we're a little bit closer to him, I guess. I guess he probably did have time to throw it. This player just wasn't in the right position. And so as he catches it, he's just below GLE, so he couldn't score. The next video we're going to watch is how applying the pressure just causes errant passes, right? So as these players start to swing the ball, we get into their hands. As they're trying to make passes, you know, we definitely throw that last little check. And now with pressure on his hands, he's just going to end up throwing the ball away, right? We get a nice little check-in. And when you think about whether players were open backside, like he could have thrown this ball, he was wide open and we would have had to, rotate down to cover the crease and everything. But overall, he had no opportunity to find a player who was really, really dangerous. Now, we carry the ball into the other side of the field, get a nice little shot and a goal, and this was obviously man down. But so within the idea of pressuring, you can generate transition going the other way as well. This is going to be our final clip, and we're just going to show exactly how open the other team can be, but because you are in hands, they do not have the ability to pass the ball into players who are open. So the ball is going to swing around here, I think, one more time. I know the ball is going to end up top, and we're going to get a backside picking motion from basically these two who are back there. Now, once the ball hits up top, notice more time taken away because we've got pressure on their hands. Ball's thrown inside. He pulls it back out again. Now, as this player flashes, he's open. Like, we would definitely want to hit that player if it was our man up, right? But the player's got someone in his hands. He struggles to get through it. He gets trail checked. They end up maintaining possession of the ball, but they had a wide open look that they couldn't find because they had pressure in their hands. Now, same basic idea here. I think the pass gets knocked down. This player, I think, knocked down like 3 or 4 passes that day, but it just is so frustrating when you're used to having the ability to catch and throw the ball and find the looks you want to find when then they send pressure to your hands and you have no option. But so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video about applying pressure man down. Definitely let me know what you guys thought down in the comment section. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with anybody who you think would find it interesting. Make sure to use some of those links down in the description if you would like to support POWLAX. You can also become a member at POWLAX.com. And yeah, make sure to leave some comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.